what is up, everybody? It is Real You. What is going on? Hope you guys are having a great day, and welcome back to this week's episode. It's another week. Holy cow, is time flying. You guys, I'm excited about today's episode. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I've got some things that I want to share with you guys today. You see, the topic is about change. And before we get into that, I want to share some things. I have found that a lot of the time my best podcast ideas, topic that I want to talk about comes when I'm not around my studio, not around the mic. So I made a list, a note in my phone. I've got an iPhone, so I made a note and I pinned it to the top. And anytime I have an idea, I put it in there and I kind of give an idea around it. And the list is starting to get long, so it may be time to start doing 2 episodes a week, but not yet. The next thing is I have actually had a conversation with my producer, Bryce Prescott, about starting to have guests on my show, which makes me super excited. He gave me some great advice, so I've started making a list of people that I'd like to have on the show, why I would like to have them on the show, and that is something that I'd like to start doing. I haven't really scheduled it out, but stay tuned because that's going to be a lot of fun. The people that I want to have on that I've made a list of, it's going to be fun. And I may have to pack up my gear and actually go to some of these people, but we're going to see. I would like to actually, if you guys have ever seen my podcast studio, like it's mediocre at best, right? It's not set up how I exactly want. But I'm actually getting a new office for my insurance business. So I've actually had a vision in the last couple days. I want to set this up as just a studio. Get rid of the desk and just set up a cool studio, some chairs, people to come hang out, record an episode. I got my mini fridge, a little snack bar, and really make it a cool studio. I want to get a completely new background, really light this place up, really, really cool. And so I'm excited for what the future brings, right? You guys, today's episode, you see the topic is change. And I've been having a conversation with a couple people, and like I said, I made that note, that list, and I had a conversation with somebody here recently. We were talking about change, and I was like, dang, change is such a hard thing. Like, it is incredibly hard. Like, we are a stubborn people, a very stubborn people, and we get in our routine, our system. This is how we do it. This is why we do it. It even happens like in generations, right? Where a family's like, well, this is how my grandma did it. This is how my grandpa did it. This is how my dad did it. And it's like, cool, like that's great and all, but like things change, right? So I realized change is hard. And some of us don't face change. And I was sitting here thinking about it a little while ago when I made this note, and I was thinking about it, and this is what I really want to share with all of you. Routines are good. Having habits are good. But see, here's the big but. They can also hold us back. They can really, really, really hold us back. And let me give you an example. Right now in my insurance business, I am changing everything. I'm changing my office. I'm changing my email. I'm changing my CRM tool. I'm changing my order of operations. I'm changing our phone system. I literally have changed almost everything in my business, and I'm in the process of changing. And there's some days I am freaking out because, one, it costs a lot more money now. There's a lot of uncomfortable, unknown, how the hell do I do this? Like, I'm changing my phone system right now, right? And I thought, cool, pay them, the phones come, set up the phones, everybody log in, everybody get acquainted, done. No, I'm on my 3rd call with this phone company to set everything up. And I was like, damn, I didn't know it was this detailed. Which I even told them, I'm like, I'm sorry. Because they scheduled an 1.5-hour meeting, and I didn't recognize that. I thought, I was like, yeah, cool, let's have a little conversation. No, they wanted to like go through stuff. And I'm like, crap, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize it was this much information. I literally thought it was just sign up and go. And it's a good thing because, there's a whole team, they're handling it. Like, it's an incredible system that I'm buying. But at the same time, it's super uncomfortable. So there has been a couple times, because I'm literally going from my monthly payment on this phone system will be more than I've paid on the current phone system in a year. The current phone system I use is like $100 or $200 a year. This new one's going to be $300 a month. So it's a completely different change, right? And there's been a couple times I've wanted to back off and just be like, whatever. It's been fine. Like, yeah, it sucks, but it's been fine. Like, we've used it. But then I've had the thought, but you're never going to build exactly what it is that you want. You see, this is the thought that I want to share with you. If we stay in our comfort zone, if you stay where you are, you're going to continue to get the exact same results that you're getting now. And I really want you to reflect on that. The life that you have, the income that you make, the relationships you have, is it exactly what you want? Or do you want more? Because I will tell you this, you will never get more unless you change, unless you grow, unless you do those uncomfortable things. I haven't shared this yet on anything else, but the other day, my wife and I, we were working on our home. It was October 10th. My wife had the day off, so I'm like, I'm going to take the day off. Let's work on siding because we're in that process. The inside, they're going to start drywall here soon, so we're working on siding and roofing and really wrapping this house up. So my wife and I took a whole day off and we were working on it. Well, there'd been some things on my mind that were kind of bugging me. And not necessarily bugging, me. I don't know how to explain it, right? Whatever. All of you that are married understand it. But I found myself getting snappy with my wife about things that weren't even and I was frustrated about some things in our relationship, and I would get frustrated about other things and blow up on those things. And she'd be like, "Why are you mad about that?" It wasn't that I was mad about that. It was I had all these other things going on in my head. So we're working on our house, and it's like 4:30 o'clock at night in the afternoon, which now it's almost dark. It's starting to really dim up. And we're 30 feet in the air, over 30 feet in the air. Well, right at 30 feet in the air, in a man lift. It's a 42-foot man lift where you can operate it from the basket. And my wife and I are up there working on J-channel, the soffit, fascia, siding, all that, right? And we started talking about a few things, and we were having a good conversation. And I just had in my head, I'm like, you know what? What better place to have an honest conversation than 30 feet in the air? And so I just said, I was like, hey, can I share some things that have been on my mind? And I honestly started tearing up in this moment because it'd been weighing me. And so my wife and I, we had this honest conversation about things that were on my mind. She opened up and shared things that were on her mind. And at the end, we were holding hands and we were hugging, and we had a congruent connection moment where we bond together and our relationship becomes stronger. The conversation was hard, though. It's hard to share those things that we feel or that are bugging us or that we want to fix or change. But guess what, you guys? We can either let that sliver stay in there and keep affecting us, or we can change and we can talk about it and we can learn and we can grow. Because I told my wife at the end of this, I even shared this with her. I said, I need you to be 100% all in on your job, on our marriage, and on our family. And I will be 100% in on my business, on our marriage, and on our family. And then we never have to question where we are. If my wife's got stuff to do for work, she's got to get it done, she's all in. If she needs to take a day off to take care of some family stuff, she's all in. If her and I need to take a moment and go on date night or go have a talk or, have some us time, we're all in. We're all in on our date nights. We're all in on us. And so I shared this conversation, but guess what? It took change. We had to change in that moment to face the things that were going on, which weren't serious. It was just some emotional and things we needed to talk about so that we understood each other on a more personal level. So we talked about those things, and it made us closer, but it took change. It took challenge. It was a hard conversation. But now, how much more powerful are we as a couple, as individuals, as parents, as business owner and as an employee? How much more stronger and powerful are we in society, in our marriage, in our family, in everything that we do? But everything requires change. And everybody says change is hard. It's because we make it hard. It's because we've taught ourselves and we've programmed ourselves. Anything hard, we go away from it instead of facing it. You see, I've established in my business, like cold calling or stopping at a business and talking to people or marketing. If I ever come to something and I'm like, oh man, I don't want to do that. I'm like, oh, that means I have to do it. Because I don't want to do it, that's what I need to do. Because it's change. It's hard. It's challenging. Change is hard. Well, to grow and to expand and do all these things we want to do, it requires change. So it's hard. We make it hard. We've programmed into ourselves that it's hard. So change the programming. Anytime that comes up, oh, I should do it. Like this morning, I didn't want to work out. And I was like, that's why I should work out. So I worked out. So this perspective of change, if there is change that you know you need to make, but you don't want to do it, that's why you should do it. That's why you should face it head on and go for it. Because to expand, you have to expand. That means change. That means grow. That means expand. That means challenge. To expand, you have to expand. Now having an assistant and new office and all these things, it's change and challenge and scary right now, but I'm forcing myself into it, which will make it the new normal. I remember when I hired my first part-time assistant, I was freaking out. My wife said the other day, she's like, remember when you were freaking out about that? And I was like, oh man, yeah, I was freaking out. She's like, now you don't even think about it. Now you're hiring a full-time. And I was like, dang. Isn't that funny how that becomes the new normal? It becomes the new normal. So we should actually be seeking change. We should be seeking challenge. We should be seeking the problems to solve, to make us better, to expand us, to grow us. That's where your power, your potential, and your freedom lies. The real you. That comfort zone isn't the real you. That's what's holding you back. That comfort zone. That is exactly what is holding you back. I had been thinking those things to have a conversation with my wife for weeks, and I was just scared to have the conversation. Literally 10, 15 minutes. That was it. I was scared to have the conversation because of the what if and the challenge and the change and all of those things. But we had the conversation, and now it's like, dang, I was letting that hold me back and affect my emotions. That's silly. And that's wrong on my end because it was causing problem between my wife and I, and she didn't even know. So that's my problem. And so when we had the conversation, made me feel better, made her feel better, and the congruence was there again. And then she left on a trip. How about that? Glad we had the conversation. Because this is the sad truth, my friends. Tomorrow is not a guarantee. You may not wake up in the morning. Your spouse may not wake up in the morning. Your children may not wake up in the morning. Your loved ones, your friends. What if they don't wake up in the morning? Or what if they don't come home? And you have to live with that, damn. I didn't share those things, or I didn't tell them I love them, or I didn't work through those things because I was scared of change. I was scared of facing the small amount of challenge, because it's all very, very, very small. There are no guarantees. You are not guaranteed to wake up in the morning. So what did you do today to live your life to the fullest? What did you do today? How did you change? How did you challenge yourself? How did you grow? What did you read? What book did you read? Did you work out? Did you spend time with your loved ones? Did you focus on the true important things that matter? Or are we caught up in all the other BS? It's what it is. And I get that. I'm caught up in it just as much as you. And that's what I'm working on. That's why I'm sharing these things. Is because there are things that I need to work on. So what do you need to change to be the real you? Who do you need to become? What conversations do you need to have? And what do you enjoy doing? Who are you meant to be? Who is the real you? Because you can have the goals of all the money, the trucks, the vehicles, the house, the body, the everything. But the true desire and power is who you had to become in the process. That is what we should get addicted to. How can we get better? What could I do today to hit another level of greatness within myself? Forget everybody else. Yeah, you can compete against other people and stuff, and that's fine. But the honest truth is the competition is against you. It is you versus you. How do you get better? How do you change? Who do you have to become? Who do you have to become in the process to obtain everything that you desire to obtain? That is the real you. Like I say, it is real you. That is the pursuit. That is what I'm after. All of you have a great day. We'll catch you next week.